Since the mid-2000s, 007 Agent Under Fire has had a small but dedicated following as a speed game. Now, at the conclusion of 2021, the end of the most progressive year in the game's history, I'm proud to host this showcase of the current individual level world records for each mission. Before watching each of the 12 world records, you will be given a brief history of the mission's world record progression and a summary of the level's playstyle. Now sit back and enjoy 007 Agent Under Fire in 31 minutes and 51 seconds, performed by the speedrun community. Trouble in Paradise is the most contested record in the game, partly because it's the first mission and partly because it's one of the easier missions casually. The top times in 2007 hovered in the mid-140s and were taken to the low 140s over the next 8 years, with heavier optimization and the discovery of wall sliding by player V-Man. After the documentation of explosion boosting in early copies of the game by YouTuber Seeger Siegsta in 2014, the time was lowered to the mid-130s by getting onto the submarine early, a trick found by runner Chromeleon. The time would then be slowly chipped at for the next 6 years until a 4-way tie at 131 was achieved in 2021, and then a 3-way tie at 130, and then I achieved a new untied world record just after the new year with the most optimized run I've ever done. Strategy supersedes optimization, however, and JTPG would set a new untied record just as I was about to upload this video. As the only player to effectively implement strafe jumping, JTPG has set a new standard for this IL and movement in general. The human IL time now sits at just 2 seconds shy of the TAS. Trouble in Paradise requires a little bit of everything from the runner and emphasizes fast movement across large rooms, as well as clutch manual aiming. Here's Trouble in Paradise in 1 minute and 28 seconds by JTPG.
Bond, M here. I'll try to keep in contact with you. Careful, 007. They may know you're inside.
Watch out!
Fireworks.
Security. Security personnel to the submarine pen. 007. We believe the American agent is being held somewhere on the lower levels.
Submarine to launch in 5 minutes.
Help me! You've got to get on that submarine, 007.
Thank you.
Precious Cargo appeared to be an open and shut case. Because it's entirely on rails, recognizing and optimizing the handful of time-sensitive moments appeared to be all that was required to max it out. Early on, a trick was discovered to keep full speed while entering the final building, and the record cemented at 3 minutes and 46 seconds. Time went on, and the record was tied by a handful of runners between 2007 and 2020. Then, out of nowhere, legacy AUF runner B-Down returned to the mission in early 2021 and proved his concept that time could be saved by manipulating traffic to allow your AI partner in the driver's seat to take tighter lines. The record fell from 346 to 343. Runner JTPG then discovered that the final shot of the level could effectively be skipped, but it was not easy. Beatdown rose to the challenge and implemented the new time saver, taking one more second off the record. Precious Cargo requires patience, luck, and intensely strict timing and aiming at its conclusion. Here's Precious Cargo in 3 minutes and 42 seconds by Beatdown.
Watch out for that helicopter! There's more of them dead ahead! They're on our tail! James, they're right in front of us. It's armored. Aim for the tires. Good shot, James. James, there's a roadblock ahead.
Turn left here, Zoe.
James, we're surrounded. James, there's a roadblock ahead.
Slow down, Zoe.
Good shot, James. Those cars are in the way. Ouch. That's gonna leave a mark.
It's that building straight ahead of us, Zoe. Why don't we drop in for a visit?
On the catwalk ahead! Bullseye! Hurry, James! This whole place is going up!
Head to the dock, Zoe. We'll get my car.
Thought you'd never ask.
Dangerous Pursuit is the shortest and most straightforward mission, and was also seemingly maxed out early on. 48 seconds would go on to be tied by 7 players between 2006 and 2020. Most of the 48s achieved were high 48s or mid 48s at best. I set out to see how many milliseconds could be shaved off, and after one excellent attempt, 47 appeared to be just maybe within reach. I tried the level with slowdown and save states to see if my very best effort could achieve a 47, and after multiple restarts, I had done it. Eventually, in November of 2020, I would achieve 47 without tool assistance. To this day, 47 is only humanly possible within a 12 frame or smaller margin of error. The two 47s achieved are even tied down to the frame. Dangerous Pursuit requires extremely fine control stick inputs to ensure minimal body roll and tire sliding, virtually perfect racing lines, and perfectly timed Q-boost and Q-pulse activation, and a lot of luck. The traffic is purely random and will ruin the majority of attempts. Here's Dangerous Pursuit in 47 seconds by Daisy Fan.
Use them spare. The Q-branch briefcase that contains the vials is equipped with a locating beacon, 007. The arrow on your radar will enable you to track it.
Those blips on your radar indicate special modifications I've developed for your vehicle, 007. Use them sparingly, however.
Bond, the vials have been transferred to that armored van. It is imperative that we recover them.
Bad Diplomacy is the shortest on-foot mission and an obvious favorite of speedrunners due to its blistering fast nature and challenge on dexterity. By 2007, the record of 1 minute and 6 seconds would be set and stand until 2015 when it was taken to 1 minute 5 seconds during a full game attempt by new any% world record holder Mr. Shasta. In 2018, a seriously talented runner named V-Man would show interest in the level and beat it down multiple times until he achieved the unthinkable, a 1 minute flat. V-Man had implemented every theoretical time saver, no matter the difficulty, including clean window entries and relying on an optimal AI movement in the Griffin fight. Unfortunately, that run's video has been lost. Luckily, however, V-Man's previous record of 1 minute 1 second was archived and remains the record today. Recently, Kid the Ons discovered a quarter-second time saver in the Griffin fight, but even with this and other small improvements, 101 has yet to be officially surpassed. Bad Diplomacy requires a quick mind and quicker fingers while you maneuver through cramped quarters. Melee players welcome. Here's Bad Diplomacy in 1 minute and 1 second by V-Man.
Despite our recent setback in Hong Kong, our plans will not be disrupted. You must receive and deliver our defective merchandise to Malprave Industries in Switzerland. What was... Oh, you! Stop!
Cold Reception and Trouble in Paradise might as well be brothers. Both are a pacifist's dream, and their completion times are strikingly close. The first sub 140 in Cold Reception was achieved in 2007, but myself and others would go on to find small time savers throughout the level, me taking the time down to 1 minute 31 seconds in 2017. V-Man would break the 130 barrier with a 129, but later remove his recording. Transient runner Daisy Fan would then dabble in Agent Under Fire and prove that he could take any record he pleased, tying the 129 by aiming his MI6 issued Motorola phone like no one else had before. He also optimized the tram cable jump, performing a full speed leap onto a railing instead of carefully hopping onto it as others had done. Cold Reception requires platforming, quick activation of panels and signals using bad hitboxes, and balls of steel faith at the end. Here's Cold Reception in 1 minute and 29 seconds by Daisy Fan.
.007. The satellite imagery should be in plain sight.
Security personnel, we have an intruder. Do not let him escape.
Right, 007. Now get out of there.
What? Shoot to kill! Sound alarm! You're going down!
Seal the doors before he escapes.
Bond, your Q remote is not...
Head him off before he reaches the tram line.
Take him out!
Night of the Jackal is one of Agent Under Fire's most well-designed levels and has good gameplay variety. It also demands very little luck from the player. Times in the mid to low 220s were achieved in 2007, but in 2011, as the sole runner of the game and conqueror of most of the ILs at the time, I struggled to get a 229. The gap was probably due to me not using the gold P2K since my attempt was part of a segmented full game run, but I had no world record footage to view to be certain. But that ceased to matter after explosion boosting was found, since you could now skip the Jackal boss to save 10 seconds. I would optimize the run further and complete a 2 minute and 7 second time in 2017 where it would stand uncontested aside from one near miss by player JTPG in 2020. I would come back to the IL in 2021 and attempt to shave off a second or two by implementing a grenade strat to kill the first hostage taker faster, and by correcting 2 small errors. A frustratingly low 206 was the result. Night of the Jackal requires the player to reset often during the first half of the run due to tricky boosting and Q-claw aiming. In the second half, you're required to dispose of several enemies before nailing a fairly simple boost to skip the boss. All challenge ends after that, and you can take it easy until the results screen. Here's Night of the Jackal in 2 minutes and 6 seconds by Alec Kermit.
Bond. The terrorists control the front of the building and they've taken civilian hostages. You'll need to take an alternate route to ensure their safety. Use the safe house on the other side of the embassy. R will provide further instruction upon your arrival.
The name is Bond. James Bond.
Streets of Bucharest is 2 levels in one, a fairly lengthy driving section followed by a very lengthy on-rails section. This driving portion also features randomized traffic, but it isn't nearly as oppressive as Dangerous Pursuits. The on-rails section sees you riding in a tank and performing relatively easy time-sensitive tricks. Luckily for runners, the tank does not get slowed down by collisions. In 2006, runner B-Down achieved a 6:34 with no video evidence, a common practice at the time. I would tackle the IL in 2017. After practicing and performing test runs of the mission, I determined that 6:34 was a damn good time, and I was skeptical I'd be able to beat it by more than a second. The driving section was simply too long to not permit at least 1 or 2 minor time losses. In June of 2017, I would gaze in disbelief as I pulled off a 6-minute, 30-second run. I sat there astonished at what I had just done. The run was better than I was. The driving section was flawless and lucky, and the tank section was without any mistakes. Streets of Bucharest requires ace driving skills with the occasional homemade shortcut and firm concentration to prevent losing multiple seconds to cannon shot blunders. Here's Streets of Bucharest in 6 minutes and 30 seconds by Alec Kermit.
007. The data chip has been ejected from the damaged helicopter. Retrieve the Q locator and find that chip.
The flashing beacon on your GPS map indicates the position of the locator, 007. Now don't dawdle, we have precious little time.
Well done, 007. Now go find that ship. You have little time before Malbro's men get to it.
It's imperative you get that device to me for decoding as soon as possible, 007. You'll have to get across the river, 007. I've left you something that should give you a boost. Those Q-Vision goggles should give you an advantage in the dark, 007.
We've learned that Malprave's men have commandeered a supply train. Be on the lookout.
007, the battery pack for those goggles is about to expire.
job, 007. R is waiting for you.
Fire and Water is a difficult mission that has no reservations about surrounding the player with plenty of enemies and other hazards. Due to its vertical layout, jetpack gadget, and explosives, it has become the game's most broken level with several ways to accomplish various skips. In 2006, the first good times for Fire and Water set around the 2-minute and 40-second mark. In 2012, I would complete a 1:57 for my segmented run. The 40-second leap would come from a few time savers I found while labbing the mission. You could save time by sneaking into the first large area via an unintended shortcut, abuse the Q-claw to reach the second floor of the pump room early and then immediately jetpack to the third floor, and jump through a window at the end to shorten some distance. I would come back to the IL in 2018 and shave off 5 seconds using almost the exact same strategies as my 157, just with much more optimization. Strategies have evolved since 2018, but even with a new double rocket jump that skips the tower's elevator, surpassing 152 will not be easy due to the current record's excellent gameplay and the daunting challenge of performing the elevator skip. Fire and Water requires precise platforming and aiming, and you'll also want to send out a prayer that your health stays above 0 in Section 2. Here's Fire and Water in 1 minute and 52 seconds by Alec Kermit.
Might shed light.
Hey, you! Stop! Hold it! Down the alarm! Down the Goodbye, Mr. Bond!
This will be a town of laughs.
Forbidden Depths is the longest mission, is entirely on rails, and only contains 3 time-sensitive moments prior to the very time-sensitive boss fight. Early records in 2007 managed to break into the 6-minute 50-second range, but with general optimization, times in the 640s were accomplished years later. A specific shot at the first forced stop caused the wall switch to be uncovered as soon as possible, and hitting Block in the chest or higher during the boss fight allowed him to be defeated before he moved out of view. Avoiding destroying the enemy cart that approaches from behind saved a second due to the back boosting it provided at the second forced stop. But the biggest breakthrough would be the rediscovery of the CH-6 rocket launcher secret, which had been mentioned once or twice on old tip sites around 2008, but was overlooked by modern runners. By shooting out specific video monitors at the second forced stop, the player could obtain the CH-6 and save significant time over using the slow-traveling fly-by-wire rockets of the RCH-1. A time of 6 minutes and 43 seconds was settled on and tied in spring of 2021, but the tie would be broken by pushing the limits of the final phase of the boss fight, strictly timing shots to barely complete the cycle without having to wait to pass under the last target. With this implemented, the 6 minute 40 second barrier would be broken in June of 2021. Forbidden Depths requires patience to reach the final boss fight where muscle memory takes over so you can rush through the aiming sequence without hesitating on a single shot. Here's Forbidden Depths in 6 minutes and 39 seconds by Alec Kermit.
Come on, let's go, Bond. Time to die!
This is where we say goodbye, Mr. Bond.
Poseidon breaks that weird I before E except after C rule. Poseidon is a unique level in that it's the only one to lock the player in a room with several enemies until they're all killed. Well, until most of them are killed. Only 6 of the 7 henchmen in the first signals room have to die. Poseidon is also the most aiming intensive level in the game. Early times in 2007 would place around the 150 mark. In 2012, I would take the record to an untied 147 during my segmented run. In 2020, V-Man would discover a method to skip the elevator, squeezing out through the door after activating the lift, and also showing just how fast and accurately he could aim by blazing through the signals room to complete a run in a mind-blowing 1 minute 34 seconds. A trick to start the mission with the laser already in your hand was also found. Daisy Fan would again step up to the challenge of competing with V-Man's ridiculous standards, eventually besting him by 1 second in February of 2021, and doing this without the 134 recording to study from, as it was lost like other runs by V-Man. Poseidon requires one skill more than any other: aiming. You have to accurately target signals using the overly sensitive C-stick controls and sketchy hitboxes while simultaneously moving. Here's Poseidon in 1 minute and 33 seconds by Daisy Fan.
Drop your weapon! Hold it! Down, down, down!
Mediterranean Crisis is the hardest IL in the game. It's clearly designed to be a mix of stealth and action, but runners don't have time for that. Swarms of enemies make surviving a matter of RNG, and there's also a difficult boost and a currently unused crazy hard time saver that gives this level the current highest time improvement potential. In 2005, runners would achieve low 250 times. In 2012, I managed a 246 for my segmented run, where I started in the gel cell, a slower but necessary choice for a full game run. In 2017, I would try the IL proper, starting from outside the cell and implementing the grenade jump I had found for the task. The Golden P2K also sped things along as it let me destroy the helicopter faster than the mounted turret could. A 237 was the result. In early 2021, I would come back to the IL, this time using a new route that destroyed the helicopter halfway through the mission instead of at the end, skipping the timed sequence of Zoe readying her jet. This route also made it so that Zoe's NPC did not spawn in the hostage location by the barrels, meaning that the two super thugs could be killed by exploding the barrels, saving time over carefully headshotting them. I had also avoided the slow zipline. With this, a 234 was set. After a month, I optimized the time further, tying the current world record 4 times before burning out. Mediterranean Crisis requires luck for survival and minimum guard blocking, and has a strict nade boost and some accurate aiming. Here's Mediterranean Crisis in 2 minutes and 31 seconds by Alec Kermit.
We see helicopters on the flight deck. Malprey's clones are...
Nice claw. Alright, let's go. I don't feel like that was a very good strafe, but whatever. That should be a new PB. What? That was a 231? That felt so much faster than the other 3 231s I've had. Evil Summit gives the player every gadget and challenges you to clear 5 hostage rooms before facing down the boss block in a gun battle. A wealth of time savers make this a fun run to watch. Times in 2007 managed to get close to breaking the 3-minute mark, but it would be in 2012 when that finally happened. I leapt to the high 240s mark by discovering that the signal for Silo Room 1 is obtainable before having to clear the first room of guards, and also by finding that you can claw up to the 3rd floor after the boss fight without having to jet to the center platform first. This being done by setting off a trigger that removes the invisible wall blocking the clawing spot. After completing the tasks, I returned to the mission in 2018, and by using the gold P2K, a grenade throw from the task, and a grenade boost to skip block, 222 was set. Over the next few weeks, I found a strat to remove the difficult aiming requirement from Silo Room 4, and eventually surprised myself with the time jump from 216 to 213, despite a couple of embarrassing mistakes. This is another IL due for improvement. Recently, JTPG found a spot to instantly explode the grenade used to skip the boss, removing some luck and saving a few seconds. Evil Summit requires you to utilize all your skills, including shortcuts, glitches, dispatching enemies, aiming, rocket jumping, and optimal gadget swapping. Here's Evil Summit in 2 minutes and 13 seconds by Alec Kermit.
Looks like they're being held somewhere.
Shocking turn of events.
The real leaders of the free world are being held captive somewhere in Malprave's headquarters. You must see that they do not come to harm.
Drop your weapon!
Remember, Bond, find the G8 meters before it's too late. Looks like they're being held somewhere in the missile control complex. Good luck.
I'll do anything, anything!
Ooh, very nice, Alec. That was probably the best Silo Room 2 I've had ever. Let's go. Just started streaming, so no one's in chat. Super late grenade throw. I've whiffed the button press
Good work,
completely.
007, but they've sealed you in. You must try to find another way out of that silo.
Still pretty good run.
You're a dead man, Mr. Bond.
1, 2, 3. It's too early anyway. Alright, that was amazing. Aside from throwing the grenade in Silo Room 4 very late, and then getting a reload animation on the entrance to the final room. Even with that, I would be shocked if that wasn't like a 216. Thank you so much for watching this video. I put a lot of work into it, and it would mean a lot if you gave it a like and shared it with your friends. If you'd like to join the Agent Under Fire speedrun community, go to speedrun.com/AUF for the latest runs, guides, resources, and a link to the Discord channel where these runs are dreamt up. A big thank you to Fitterspace and Josh7774 for creating visual assets for this video. And finally, thanks to my girlfriend Maj for putting up with me. I love you.